So we are doing financing government, and it's section 3, spending and the budget.
I thought you did. Oh, that was the other class you did section 3 yesterday.
Federal spending, which is spending priorities. Entitlements, benefits that the federal law says must be paid to all of those who meet the eligibility requirements. OASDI is the largest entitlement program today. The government guarantees assistance for all of those who qualify. OASDI's expenditures make the Social Security Administration the second largest spender in the federal government. It outlays for the defense now accounts for much larger shares of the budget than what they have over the past decade.
Now, we'll probably need to update that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, actually, we're down to about 20% of the budget.
Graph.
Huh?
I have a graph.
What year?
Well, it's for the president's budget for the 2015 fiscal year.
This is the proposed budget?
Yeah. Well, I have the same.
Oh, okay.
Interest on the public debt is the largest category of federal spending.
Does anybody remember what OASDI stands for?
Use the book.
It's old age survivors and disability insurance.
You should know a little bit about that since it's going to be the largest ticket item that you guys and your children and grandchildren are responsible for.
Yeah. And it's what you pay for in the payroll tax that we talked about.
Okay.
So, controllable and uncontrollable spending. Controllable spending is Congress and the President can decide each year how much will be spent on many of the things that the government does. Discretionary spending is spending on those budget items about which Congress and the President can make choices. Much federal spending is uncontrollable because of mandatory spending, which was billed into the public programs.
And I think that's important to also just highlight. What do you guys think about the idea of people who are elected now in Congress and the Senate and the President making requirements for future generations who haven't even elected the people that they want to represent them? Are you okay with current politicians binding future elected officials to certain spending formulas? I don't expect you to answer that, but think about it. Are you philosophically okay with that?
Uncontrollable spending has increased while the percent of controllable spending has decreased.
Discretionary spending, like examples of that would be like the highways and parks and stuff. Because Congress and the President can make choices on that together.
And defense?
Huh?
And defense spending?
Yeah.
How about Social Security or Medicare or Medicaid? Or
Those are all entitlements which must be paid.
Those
So
are,
that's uncontrollable.
yeah, it's by law. We have to. Okay, the federal budget. Constitution gives Congress the power of the purse. So that means that they have the power of the purse. It's like they're holding all the money, and they decide, Congress can decide how much the government can spend and what to spend it on. The President proposes the federal budget. It's a detailed plan of how and how much money is spent. The President's plan for policies of the year. Joint effort of Congress and the President. The Congress can change with appropriation measures.
So who do you blame if you don't like the budget? The President or Congress?
Congress.
Well, theoretically, although you guys may know this or not know this, I think it's the past 6 or 7 years, the Congress and the President haven't even been able to work together to put together a budget. They have not even created a budget in the past 6 to 7 years.
And then,
Talk about ultimate dysfunction in Washington, D.C.
and then it's just a picture of like criticizing the way that they do the federal budget, because they have a lot of non-discretionary spending, and then discretionary spending is like barely the tail. So it's
they're
like
fighting
they're
over
wasting
scraps.
a lot of money. The president and the budget. The budget is made 18 months in advance. Each federal agency creates its own budget for that 12-month period and submits to the Office of Management and Budget, or the OMB. OMB reviews, edits, and lowers spending plans and then gives it to the president. And then this is the president's proposed total spending for the fiscal year of 2015. So there's 33% of the Social Security and unemployment and labor, and then Medicare and health is another big part, and it's 27%. And then you can just see all of the rest of the stuff.
So that's why
Interest
I
on
wanted to
debt,
point out on
6%.
that pie chart, you know, where you said it was the, it is actually, military spending has gone way down.
Yeah.
It used to be
It's
in
way
the
smaller than
1990s,
it's
it was almost about 25%, now we're down to about, what does that say?
66.
That is a huge
In
reduction.
the pie chart in the book has a way bigger section.
Yeah, that's a huge reduction.
Congress and the budget. Budget given to Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, which gives basic economic analysis data to Congress and committees. House and Senate Appropriations Committees receive and edit budget to be presented to own chamber. Must be passed by May 15, non-binding.
Non-binding, that
No.
means that's the goal date, but nothing's gonna happen to them if they don't get it done by then. And obviously, they don't care about it because they haven't passed a budget for 6 or 7 years.
A second resolution made by September 15th and October 1st is the start of a new fiscal year. Congress passes 13 major appropriations per year. Continuing resolution, agency will use same budget as last year if the President and Congress can't make a consensus and prevents agency from shutting down.
So basically, you're saying for the past 6 years, we've been operating off CRs and not a budget.
Okay, that's the end of chapter 16, section 3, and then I have a couple random review questions of you guys. Okay, so who can give me an example of discretionary spending? I just said like 3 earlier.
Discretionary spending, can you give me examples of it?
Yeah. What about an example of uncontrollable spending?
Something that they must pay for.
It's like the interest on like the national debt and stuff. Like you have to pay it. It's a fixed rate. It's a fixed rate. It's not going to change.
Meaning that the current President and Congress have no choice. They have to pay because earlier Congresses and Presidents forced them to do it in the future.
Yeah.
Obligated them.
See if you guys can answer this question now.
Right
because you
here.
couldn't earlier. What?
Health insurance? Like Medicare,
Yeah.
Medicaid,
Yeah.
Affordable Health Care Act.
Okay. So what's in? I said it earlier, so maybe you guys know it now. What's the OADSI stand for?
Old age,